But first, they would need to remove the dark spirits standing in their way. Throughout 2019, Chad began systematically poisoning Lori's mind against her own children. He told her that both Tylee and JJ had been possessed by dark spirits and were no longer truly her children. In Chad's twisted theology, killing them would actually be an act of mercy, freeing their souls to find new bodies. But Chad's real motivation was much more sinister. Tylee, at 16, was old enough to understand that something wasn't right about Chad's relationship with Melanie. She had witnessed inappropriate interactions during family gatherings and had begun asking uncomfortable questions. JJ, Lori's adopted son, required constant care due to his autism. Chad saw him as a burden that would interfere with his plans for the future. More importantly, JJ's disability payments provided income that Chad wanted to control. Meanwhile, Chad's wife Tammy was becoming increasingly suspicious of her husband's behavior. She had discovered text messages between Chad and Melanie that clearly indicated a romantic relationship. When she confronted Chad about it, he claimed that Melanie was helping him with spiritual research for his books. But Tammy wasn't buying it. She threatened to expose Chad's affair to their church leaders and family members. In the tight-knit Mormon community where they lived, such a revelation would destroy Chad's reputation and his livelihood as a religious author. Chad realized that Tammy had to be silenced permanently. October 19th, 2019. Tammy Daybell went to bed feeling ill, complaining of nausea and fatigue. By morning, she was dead. Chad immediately called 911, claiming that his wife had died peacefully in her sleep from natural causes. He refused to allow an autopsy, insisting that their religious beliefs prohibited it. Tammy was buried quickly, and Chad began making plans to marry Lori just 2 weeks later. But what investigators would later discover was that Tammy had been poisoned with a lethal dose of medication that Chad had been secretly administering for weeks. He had been slowly increasing the dosage, making it appear as though Tammy was simply getting sicker naturally. Chad's plans seemed perfect. With Tammy dead, he could marry Lori without having to explain his relationship with Melanie. He could claim that his first wife's death was part of God's plan to bring him and Lori together. But Chad had underestimated how suspicious Tammy's sudden death would appear to her family and friends. Tammy had been healthy and active, with no history of serious illness. Her sudden death, at age 49, raised immediate red flags. When Chad married Lori in Hawaii, just 2 weeks after Tammy's funeral, the suspicions only grew stronger. Tammy's children began asking